Okay, welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and get into the stock market technical analysis. We'll go ahead and look at some broad market trade ideas and then some individual trade setups. If you guys are finding value in the content, drop me a thumbs up. It helps the channel, it helps me, and I'll continue to look for profitable trade setups and trade ideas. Okay, so we're dropping into the triple Qs. I'm looking at an hourly chart. Obviously, this is our tech sector, the heaviest weighted sector in the S&P 500, and so it's important. Last week on the hourly chart, we had this little bullish falling wedge, and we had a breakout, kind of a false breakout really initially, and then it went to the bottom of the wedge. But now we do have that little breakout right here. And so I think we probably can drift up a little bit more. The measured target of this wedge, what you want to do is you take the widest part of the wedge, which is really, not the fibs, widest part of the wedge, which is really about right there. And that's basically, you take it at the point of the breakout, and that's your measured target. It's putting us at about 373.50. Okay, that's really the measured target. And then just overhead, you've got some resistance. It's about 375-ish. All right, you see here on the hourly chart, all these reactions here. Here's a gap up. Okay, there's another reaction right there. So I think that's probably, the major target puts us at 373.50, but 375 is that major resistance point. So that would be kind of where I think if we're going to continue to rally, that would be the next level of resistance where I'd pretty much be looking for a hard reversal and then a continuation to the downside. Bigger picture, when I move over to the daily chart, okay, the daily chart, we have a potential downtrend line right here, all right, and we're trending lower, all right. In the short term, we are making lower highs and lower lows, so even a rally up to that 375 doesn't change that longer term technical picture. I think we get rejected and head down to this major trend line of support down about 360 or so. That trend line is the bullish trend line that's really been in place all year in the triple Qs. And so definitely there would be buyers down there. They'll try to hold that bullish trend. Okay, so that's kind of your short term and then your kind of medium term. Longer term, obviously we need to break this trend line. That needs to break to trigger a longer term sell signal. We don't have that yet, of course. So we will continue to look for that. And then as Apple's kind of a big player in the triple Qs, it's very heavily weighted. Apple, to me, actually looks like it's bear flagging. You've got the initial leg down. You're kind of flagging out over the last week or so. There's your flagpole. And then a continued breakdown would trigger that, trigger that bear flag, and that sets us up for a move down to about 162-ish, somewhere right in there. The 200 days coming up, so I think you would sell down, meet the 200 day, and that's where there would likely be some buyers there. So Apple looks like it's bear flagging, and if Apple continues to bear flag and then actually you see an impulsive breakdown, then you're going to it's going to bring the triple Qs down with it. So something to take note of on that. NVIDIA has earnings coming up, so NVIDIA is probably going to hold up into earnings. Maybe you get some nervous selling. You had a breakdown. There's a sell signal right there. We're seeing this back test, so it could back test, and even post earnings could pop and do a full back test and make a new divergent high, maybe just a slightly higher high right there above the former high. And then it would also be a back test into resistance. So that would be a very objective short if it does that after earnings. Yeah, it's probably going to chop around up until then. So keep an eye out on that. Wheat. Okay, so wheat, a couple weeks ago, or really last week, I talked about we were holding this support, and it was right here. There's support, and we were holding that support right there. But I did mention that, okay, because we started to drift lower on that trend line, and it was slightly below. And that's kind of what we've seen is this drift, and now the selling's really starting to pick up, but we are selling down to what looks to be a back test of this former wedge. So you've got this big bullish falling wedge, okay, that played out for well over a year. We had a breakout, so that's a breakout, all right. We did a back test, ran up, hit the 200, and it looks like we're just coming in for another back test of that wedge. So that's support, a little bit more to go, maybe on the downside, but in general, very close to that support zone and objective long area It can, anywhere from kind of where we're at right now down to maybe this actual wedge, another 2 to 3% downside would be kind of the buy zone. And you don't always want to wait for a perfect tag of the trend line. You might get it, you might not, because a lot of people see that level as strong support and they'll look to step in early. So that's all I really have on wheat. We're back testing that trend line. Gold is breaking down today. You'll see GDX. Now, we don't have today's not anything technically new. It actually kind of broke this trend the other back here on the August 2nd, and we're trending lower. So keep an eye out for that. It looks like we're just slightly below some support. Let me kind of extend this out, see where we're at. Sorry, guys, I'm working on a single screen laptop today, so it's a little trickier. Yeah, coming into some support right here, about 28.34. So probably going to get a little bounce. And then you've got better support down there at about 27, right in there. I don't see a strong, I don't have a strong read on gold right now. It doesn't look like it's, a very objective long at the moment. So I think we could bounce, but in general, yeah, I'm just not super bullish on it. Silver looks a little different. Let me go ahead and kind of show this. This is SLV, the silver ETF. You got support. So that's the bullish trend, and we're still, right there, maybe a little more downside, but basically kind of right above that trend line. So that still looks like it's holding a bullish trend, and until you get a sell signal and a break of trend, it's buy at support. Okay, individual trade ideas. This is DraftKings. This is on a sell signal, which means it's sell the rip, right? Stocks don't just go straight down. They do rally in downtrends, and you look to sell into those rallies or short into those rallies. So on DraftKings, bullish or bearish rising wedge here, big negative divergence on the momentum. All right, right there, momentum is trending down as price was moving up. That's divergence. And you had a sell signal. This gap down right there is a sell signal because, for one, it breaks, it's a breakdown of this bearish rising wedge, and two, it puts an island cluster top. All right, we gapped up, traded up here for a couple of weeks or month or so, and then gapped down and created an island cluster top. That's bearish. So the way you trade these is you get a gap down, you short, and they can sometimes rally it back up a little bit, but in general, it usually will keep the top, and then it just continues lower. So you set your stop. I'd set my stop somewhere around this 32.50 or so, 33, somewhere right in there is where my stop would be at. And then you just let this thing trade out. The measured target of this wedge, which is, about the best we can go off of where we think this will actually trade down to, is putting this thing trading, is the target's right about $17. All right, $17.50, $17.20. So plenty of profit to be had on this one. That's a potential of a 37% downside to hit that measured target, and I still like it. And as you can see today, you had this sell signal here. All right, and then you back test it, and you're still trading, kind of consolidating, but holding the gap. All right, the island cluster top is still in place, so everything looks good on that one. This is a trade idea that I pointed out a little while ago, CF. Now, again, the long on CF was right here. Your buy signal was right there. That's when I talked about it and pointed it out as a trade idea. I figured it would trade up to the 200-day moving average. It did hit it. It did hit that target. So, if you took that trade, that was a move of about 17-18%. We had a bullish uptrend line here. And that trend is now broken. That's a sell signal right there with the breakdown. So as long as you get that daily close down here, that's a sell signal, and this should head lower. That's probably the end of this upward move, and then we could come down and hit some of these support levels. So I'm not in this one anymore. It's I think it's time to probably exit that long trade. It was a good trade though, so that is that one. And then CVS, we did talk about this one. This one's, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of stuck in the middle of support and resistance. Support's about 72, resistance is up here at 76. We're just in the middle, so I need to see, either tags of support is objective to buy or breaks of resistance would be an objective buy signal. As of right now, we're just kind of stuck in the middle. Okay, and to wrap up, Meta. So Meta obviously had a bearish rising wedge here. We talked about that. We had a breakdown. Let me go ahead and get that chart queued up. There we go. We got the breakdown. That's your sell signal. Ramped up into a back test and moving lower. So again, it's probably going to come back down to the support, maybe get a little bounce, but ultimately I think this is about to start trading lower, or it could go sideways. All right, we could always just chop sideways, but I think the upside is relatively limited, and there's higher probability that we reverse and head lower. Meta had a big negative divergence right here. You can see it on the daily chart. Here's the PPO, just a big divergence where the momentum was just completely dropping off and price is no longer going up. You can see it was going up, broke down, back tested, and now I think it's starting to drift lower. Once you take out this 291 and make a new lower low, you'll officially have a downtrend, all right, because you'll have kind of a lower low, and then you come up, make a lower high, and you start trending lower. So that one I believe is going lower. Whether it does, we need to see the triple Qs start to break down as well, obviously, and Apple. Watch Apple. I think that's going to be a key tell. If Apple starts to resolve that bear flag to the downside, then the rest of these are likely going to sell down as well. So, okay, guys, that's all I have. Drop me a thumbs up. Check out my stock market technical analysis course if you're interested in learning this as a skill set. Check out the private member group. I've been a lot more active in there over the last couple weeks. With travel and stuff, hard to get these videos out as frequently. So if you're interested in trade setups, additional trade ideas, private member group, link in the description below for both of those, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.